Hi everyone, and welcome to Techy Tuesday with Tim, the last of 2020. So thank you for joining us. Today we're going to showcase a new and exciting feature, what we've been looking forward to for the whole year, which is our balance sheet to property orders technology. We've been working on this technology for over 6 months with a team of family lawyers, including myself as an accredited specialist in family law, and other family lawyers, subscribers getting their feedback, etc., as well as, of course, our brilliant techie team. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to add them into the Facebook Live comments, or we're also live on other groups, so welcome, and please feel free to add your questions. So over to you, Tim, as we showcase the balance sheet to property orders technology. Thank you.
Great. So just to do a really quick introduction, because it is quite a new feature as to what this actually is. Our balance sheet, as you know, is a great way of putting together an agreement. You can add your assets, liabilities, and super, and then use the sliders to determine what you are going to do with each item, whether it's going to be sold or retained or discharged, whatever it might be. And effectively, what you've done there in the balance sheet is put together an agreement. And so what we've done is taken that information, that modeling that you've just done in the balance sheet, and converted that into legal orders. Now, that might be property orders or even consent orders as well. So what I'm going to do is actually show you how to convert an agreement that you might have put together in your balance sheet into one of those legal order documents. So I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. Hopefully you can all see my screen. And I'll really just take a minute just to introduce what we're looking at here. So we are looking at a balance sheet here, Alexander's working balance sheet. I've already populated it with assets, liabilities, and superannuation funds. And as you can see on the right-hand side here, we've put together an agreement. So just really quickly, they're going to sell the family home and discharge the mortgage. Alexander's going to retain a few of his assets. Sophia is going to retain her assets. There has been a cash adjustment, so there is an extra payment being added into the balance sheet to actually bring the outcome to an overall 55-45 agreement. So that's really important. We've added that in there too. Alexander's going to retain his personal Visa credit card debt, and they're both going to retain their own super. So if you come down here, you can see that there is that cash adjustment, and it is a 55-45 outcome that's been agreed on here. So once you've done that, you've put together your agreement or the orders that you'd like to generate in your balance sheet. The next thing you need to do is provide an extra level of detail that is required to generate robust property orders. That's not necessarily needed to populate a simple balance sheet. And so if you click in on each of the items, you'll see balance sheet, which this first tab gives you just the basics that you need to put in here to build up your balance sheet and put together an agreement. But you do need to then click on details to then start entering the additional information that is required for property orders. This information is also reused if you are going to generate the application for consent orders form or the financial statement. So this information is used in more than one place. And the great thing about putting it in once is it's then reused over and over again every time you generate one of these documents in Family Property. So you can see for a real estate property, it's things like names of registered owners, folio identifier, and then a few questions down the bottom here related to legal orders. For instance, pending a sale or a transfer, who should have exclusive occupation? Or again, pending a transfer or a sale, who should pay the outgoing household expenses? And you can then select the agreement that's been reached, or the kind of orders that you want to put together around these particular characteristics of the orders, and then that will then be automatically drafted into orders for you. Now, each of these items in the balance sheet will have different kinds of information you need to enter. For instance, a vehicle, under details, it's different things. It's like year, make, and model. And you can click through and put in this extra detail needed in through each item in the balance sheet. However, we have made it a whole lot simpler to enter this information at the point where you need to start drafting orders. And how you do that is go to Documents and click on Show All. So that's Documents, Show All. And then just to introduce you to the two documents that you can generate, there is under Court Documents, you will find Property Orders. And then a little bit further down under the agreement section, you will find consent orders. If you click on either of those two options, you will see the following smart form appear from the right-hand side. The only difference is consent orders does have a lot more information at the top of the legal document that you can fill in the top of the form here. Other than that, it's exactly the same, working your way down to the next section in the form. So as you can see here, Family Property's pulled out the complete list of all your assets. There they are, liabilities, and superannuation funds, and gives you a simple way of confirming what action is going to be taken. So for instance, on the family home here, we're going to sell it. And then that simple just pulls out those extra details needed, allowing you to then fill them in on the form. And you can work your way through here, filling in the required details, answering the necessary questions related to orders, and working your way down through each of the items. You can save your progress as you go. Often you might not have this level of detail ready to go from the outset. So you can put in the information that you have and click save, and then come back and continue to populate this over the next coming days. But when you have put in all the information to generate your legal orders, all you do is click download. And that will then compile and draft your legal orders. So in this case, it's consent orders that would go along with your application for consent. So let's have a look at this now and spend a little bit of information having a look at the information that's been put in. So the top information has gone into the top part of the legal document. As we can see here, Alexander and Sophia Miller, we're filing on behalf of or this document's drafted from the applicant. And then if we go down a little bit further here, I will highlight a few things. I might get Fiona, the family lawyer, to make a few more comments around the orders. But as you can see here, that cash adjustment has been added in here, that the respondent will pay the applicant a sum of $94,350. And then within 60 days of these orders, we're going to sell the family home. Do you want to make a couple of comments around the orders that we see here?
Yes, so as you can see here, this is ACT. We've got clients all over Australia, so we have customised it. If you are in ACT versus New South Wales, Queensland, etc., as far as the sale orders. We have also smartly put in if, for example, there's a transfer of the property with a cash payment. If that cash payment wasn't to occur, a default order for the sale of the property. So they're quite detailed sale orders. They are generic. We, at this version, aren't customising them for your law firm, but as I said earlier, we have worked a lot in a team of family lawyers and tech team to try to make it as best practice orders as possible. If we go down...
Just want to highlight here as well, there was a mortgage that we're planning on discharging with the sale of the property. So that order's been built into the structure of the sale, as you can see there. So it's taking care of the mortgage for you. And then you'll also see a little bit further down here, the division of the proceeds of sale. In this case, it's 50-50. So that's been included here as well as the mortgage, again, is being paid out here as well. You can also see that pending the sale, so those decisions that I made a little earlier around who's to pay the council water rates and ongoing expenses has also been added into, it's got its own order there as well, because it clearly flags that as being something that the parties will share equally.
And these property orders, you do have the option of defining if it's the Castle Hill property or you want to call it the property. They, of course, are in a Word document, so you can manually go in and update it further once it's generated. But our aim is really to save you significant time in drafting, to have all of the information there, as well as all of those other clauses at the bottom here. Somebody has asked a question about superannuation. We have worked with a superannuation expert. We might add a super fund in there, looking at a transfer of a super fund. We have worked with Dan Blackman from Info Super. He's provided us with some advice on standard superannuation splitting orders for accumulated super funds, as well as the default orders required for defined benefit super funds, military super funds, etc. So we've worked with him in regards to that, and he's provided us with templates in regards to all of the defined benefit funds. The accumulated interest funds, they are, of course, for both super splitting orders, you do need to check that and obtain procedural fairness from the super fund before you sign off on consent orders. But it's a good start in setting out template superannuation orders, as you see here, order 13 to 16 here, as far as a superannuation split in a base amount, procedural fairness, the operative time of those super splits, that each party otherwise retains all their own superannuation funds, etc. One other thing I wanted to add in regards to the consent orders, we have got the if each party is retaining their own assets, liabilities and superannuation, we have defined that within the orders. Did you want to showcase that briefly? So it lists all of what the applicant is retaining and all what the respondent is retaining, as well as the catch-all orders, which I'll briefly show you at the end. So if we go down to the retention orders, you'll see here the applicant would retain the following assets to the exclusion of the respondent: the shares, the BMW, the antique stamp collection. The respondent will retain Toyota Camry. So it lists those, all automatically saving you time, as well as at the end, the parties will each retain all other assets, liabilities, indemnification orders, and unless otherwise specified in these orders, each party to retain. At the end, liberty to apply, as well as the standard section 106A order, all included there in the consent order form. So if the signature page, the page numbers, the correct spacing, Arial 412, etc., all aimed at saving you significant time in the drafting of consent orders. One other thing we'll mention is property orders. So, of course, if you can't reach an agreement and you need to file an initiating application, go to property orders. You may need to file an initiating application or a response. At this stage, we haven't automated the entire form, but we do have the attachment A or attachment of the initiating application or response, called it the proposed orders, standard orders, as similar to what we've got in the consent orders with the page numbers, etc. One question here is, as mediators, can we use this? This is in the lawyer subscription. If you're one of our older subscribers of Family Property, you will have access to the property orders, as well as the application for consent orders that populates all the financial information. Some mediators we're finding are populating this in draft and providing it to clients. That we've had some advice around that. That's not necessarily providing legal advice. It's just the technology providing a draft of the document, but it's important to have the disclaimers in the property orders saying that it isn't legal advice, you're not providing legal drafting, legal representation, and you strongly recommend that they get independent legal advice before signing any consent orders and the application for consent orders. Tim, did you want to add anything to that?
No, that's it. That's our 15 minutes. So I hope you found this helpful. If you've got any questions in relation to the property orders, how it works, if you want to get in there and give it a go as a Family Property subscriber, yeah, we'd love any questions, comments or feedback that you might have. But this is our last Techy Tuesday for 2020. So thank you for following along, and it is something I think we've got some really good feedback on. So we're hopeful that we'll continue it in the new year.
Excellent. And have a wonderful Christmas and a relaxing break. I know it's been a very busy season for family lawyers and family mediators. We do have some events coming up in the new year, a Start Your Own Family Law Firm course on the 21st of January, and a Start Your Own Family Law Mediation Practice on the 28th of January. Would love for you to join those sessions. Further information is available on our Facebook page and Family Property Events page. We also do have a new help forum specifically for subscribers, exclusive for you to add comments, to have access to our videos, blogs, etc. So thank you for your support in 2020, and we look forward to working with you again in 2021.
Thank you.
Bye.